Hello and welcome back to Mythogenesis Studios Comics. And today I'm excited because I've got a stack of Spider-Man and X-Men to show you, mostly Silver Age goodness that I've been collecting off and on over the last 5 or 6 months. Maybe buying something every couple weeks, just to keep it sensible. Don't want to spend too much at one time, especially with how things are in the country, as all of you, I'm sure, know, with the price of everything going up. But mostly what I have to show you is Amazing Spider-Man, and then I have a couple of early X-Men issues to show you. And let's see, we'll start with Amazing Spider-Man 27 with the Green Goblin. So that's pretty cool that was able to get something this early in the Spider-Man run. I looked at prices of earlier issues, so that might be tough for me to go down too low on these, but I've just been getting what I can with the budget that I have. The next one is Amazing Spider-Man 32. And this is a cool issue right here. This is probably about, I would give it about a 5. And then for the 27, probably about a mid-grade 2. This one I was excited to get. I need to get it pressed and cleaned though. It's probably about a 4 now. If I get it pressed and cleaned, maybe a 5. But this is another Green Goblin issue, and it is the Amazing Spider-Man 40. And these are in Mylar, so it's a little glare on the screen there. And then we move into more into the 40s. I have an issue of this that's a 3.5, but I wanted to upgrade what I have and get a better copy. And this is probably a mid-grade as well, probably a 5.5 at best, but I'll probably get this pressed as well. But it's Amazing Spider-Man 42 with Mary Jane appearance. It's got bright colors, so very nice to have to upgrade that issue in my collection. And then we move on to the next issue, which I was waiting a long time to get this one, and this is the Rhino. And this is probably a mid-grade too. I think most of these are. So I'll probably be sending most of these to get pressed and cleaned. Don't know if I'll be slabbing anything too soon. I'll have to wait till everything shakes out with that whole business with CGC and CGCS. And I think it's PGX. And see how all that goes. But I have been reading all of these, and all of the stories are good, and it's just amazing. I'll probably said it again in another video, but it's amazing how much story that they pack in just the first 5 or 6 pages of these, compared to modern comics where I can read them and I'm just still like, that's it, that's all that's in there. But they really pack in the stories in these. Now we move into the 50s, and this is Amazing Spider-Man number 55 with Doc Ock. And this is mid-grade as well. But they're still nice, just like some creases on the spine. And this is actually a star stamp issue 2 that's kind of right in the S there. And it's looks like a blue star stamp that's there. So I think they said that's from a military base. And then, let's see, we move on to another Spidey villain, the Vulture with 64. And this issue is, to me, it's a solid 7. Possibly better, but it's a real clean copy, bright white. I read this one last night, and it's a great issue, a lot packed in it. Spidey battling the Vulture with a sprained arm, and the Vulture actually defeats Spidey in this, and then he flies away. But guess I have to get the next one because it's a unmasking of Spider-Man, allegedly, by the crowd. The last panel, they're saying, we can finally see who he is. So there's that. Then I'll move on to the 80s, and we have the Amazing Spider-Man 82 with Electro there. And this is probably about a 6 with that one. And then 84. And this is a good issue too. I wasn't really familiar with the villain in this one. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But it was a good read. A lot going on. The Kingpin had quit at his girlfriend or wife's behest, the life of crime, but being the Kingpin, it didn't take much to pull him back in to that. And then we have Amazing Spider-Man 88, another Mordock Ock, or his tentacles. And this is a pretty clean issue. I'd still probably say it's probably about a 5 or 6. So the next issue that I have is the Amazing Spider-Man number 95, and this was probably my favorite issue that I read because just so much is packed into it. It's kind of like 2 or 3 stories in one because he goes to London to find Gwen Stacy to talk to her about the death of her dad and her blaming Spider-Man, and then Peter and all of that. But he ends up saving, I think, a detective, and then he battles terrorists that tried to kidnap him and his son, and it's just it doesn't end up tracking down Gwen Stacy, but she ends up finding out through the television that Spidey's actually a good guy. So it's just a lot going on in this issue, and I really enjoyed this one out of all the ones that I've gotten. And then move on to 2 X-Men that I've got, one early, one not so early, but I got a good copy of X-Men 13 with the Juggernaut. How about that? And this is pretty bright and clean. I will send this in to get pressed and cleaned as well, but it's probably in that 5 or 6 range, which is pretty good for a X-Men issue that's this early to me. And then lastly, I have X-Men 45. Check this out. So this is a good issue too, right here. And of course, we have Cyclops, and he's actually a prisoner of Magneto in this book. So it's him trying to free himself and the X-Men from Magneto and the clutches of his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So it has a cameo with Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and then Quicksilver. So it's got a lot going on in this one too. Just so much packed into these compared to a lot of modern comics. So this is like my I've gotten other stuff, but it's more from the Bronze Age. Maybe I'll do a video on that, but this is the stack of Spider-Man and X-Men that I've gotten over the last few months. So it's pretty cool to have them. I'll get them pressed and cleaned. Like I said, don't know if I'll get any of them slabbed, maybe. But yeah, that's it. So hope that you have a nice day or evening whenever you watch this, and I'll talk to you next time.